Hey guys, what's up? Greg here with the Vinyl Rundown. So, what you see before you is a giant stack of records that is our Christmas presents to each other and our family. December 2018, we give each other a lot of records. So, let's take a quick look at everything we got in this giant pile. First one on the list, John Hyatt, the Eclipse Sessions. I think that's his newest one. John, great singer-songwriter, has been around for decades. He wrote, no, I can't remember the name of the songs that he wrote. Great songwriter, and this is an autographed copy from Barnes& and Noble, so my son got that for me. I haven't heard it yet, but I'm sure it will be great. Sonny Rollins, Freedom Suite. Sonny Rollins, great saxophone player from this album is probably from the 60s. Maybe not, 50s? Don't know. Haven't checked it out yet. They Might Be Giants. Can't even read the cover of this thing. I Like Fun. Sounds good. This is for my son who loves They Might Be Giants. Really clever band. They Might Be Giants. This is an old classic from them. Apollo 18. Got a lot of their earlier hits on it. Palindrome, Mammal, etc., etc. So this is a classic reissue from long ago. Here is The Pixies for my wife. Son got that for my wife. And I don't know this record. My wife will listen to it. I'm sure she'll love it. Brady Bunch. I got this for my wife at the thrift store. Yeah, I give my wife presents that cost $1. Old vintage copy of the Brady Bunch album, written on by some kid. And it's got the classic Time to Change and a couple other songs. Me and the Dog Named Boo and other miscellaneous stuff. Aztec Camera, one of my wife's favorites. She asked for that. Don't know this one, but it's from the 80s, I guess. And another one for my wife, Tom Petty, Live. She loves Tom Petty. We have most of his stuff, but there's a few things we don't have from the back catalog since he died about a year ago. Another 99-cent record to my wife. Pollyanna, the movie with Haley Mills, if you remember that from the 60s, with Jane Wyman, Reagan's wife, Carl Malden, Agnes Moorehead from Bewitched. Fun for $1. Another one from Tom Petty, The Hypnotic Eye. Not familiar with this one, but rounding out my wife's Tom Petty collection. Guess what? More Tom Petty. Into the Great Wide Open. I guess everybody knows that song. So this is a better known Tom Petty, produced by Jeff Lynne. One of the few we didn't have. Another 99-cent record for me. Believe it or not, the Hollies. Classic pop group from the 60s. Kind of psychedelic looking. Haven't listened to this one yet. We've got to clean it since it's from the thrift shop. The hit song Carrie Ann. My wife seems to know that song. I don't. Another thrift store record for me. Bill Withers, the great Bill Withers, live at Carnegie Hall. 2-disc set. This is either $1 or $2. It's got all his hits on it. Use Me Up, Ain't No Sunshine, Lean on Me, all that stuff. The great Bill Withers. Okay, now we're getting to the weird stuff that I like. How many of you have heard of Karlheinz Stockhausen? Stockhausen is well, probably one of the most influential experimental composers of the 20th century. He did a lot of weird stuff with weird instruments, but this is just basic piano music. So complete piano music of Stockhausen, used copy. His stuff is pretty rare. He composed a lot of music, but when it was released it was in pretty small quantities, so you won't see his records around too much. My son loves Jaco Pastorius. World's greatest electric jazz bassist, no question. So this is called Invitation, and this is with some sort of well-known session players. Randy Brecker, Peter Erskine, Don Mincer, It's got his famous song "The Chicken" on it, and some other tunes. So this is sort of funky jazz. All right, here's one of the best records of the whole batch. John Coltrane, who's been dead for like 50 years, but they found one of his albums. So John Coltrane, The Lost Album, Both Directions at Once. This is the deluxe 2-disc set. This was stuff that was finally released for the first time. Never before released stuff by John Coltrane. I may do a whole video just on this record because it's kind of an important release. Probably one of the most reviewed jazz records of 2018. John Coltrane again. What a coincidence. This one, Thelonious Monk and John Coltrane on the Riverside label. This is one of the classic jazz albums from the late 50s. Monk and Coltrane. And it's got all Thelonious Monk tunes. Epistrophe, Nutty, etc., etc. Who plays on here? Wilbur Ware, Gigi Grice, Coleman Hawkins, Art Blakey on drums. Another classic jazz album for me. I'm the one who likes jazz. Something Else by Cannonball Adderley. Miles Davis, Art Blakey. This is almost like a Miles Davis album because it really has a Miles Davis sound. This is probably the best Miles Davis record on Blue Note, even though it's really Cannonball Adderley as leader. This is one of the most pirated albums of all time because the original is really valuable on Blue Note. So this is a brand new release. Something Else by Cannonball Adderley, Miles Davis, Autumn Leaves, all those old hits. All right, here is one from my wife. Jeff Tweedy's new record called Warm. And Jeff Tweedy, of course, is the leader, singer-songwriter of Wilco from Chicago and my wife's favorite band by far. We have all of their records and have seen them play a zillion times. So this is his new one called Warm. If you can read the text there, Warm. Jeff Tweedy. And I think this is more of an acoustic-y kind of a set. So yeah, we saw him right when this record came out. Good set, really good guy. This one is one of my son's favorites, Red Hot Chili Peppers. One of their earlier things called Mother's Milk. This was the first album that featured John Frusciante on guitar, if I pronounce that right, and Chad Smith, aka Will Ferrell, on drums. So Chili Peppers. Good one. And, this is a good one. Lastly, I think this is last. We're getting near the end here, folks. Bear with us. Birds of Satan, a group that none of you have heard of, but you've heard all the musicians. So if you like Foo Fighters, you will like Birds of Satan. Taylor Hawkins, the drummer, has a local band here in LA that we've seen a zillion times called Chevy Metal, which is basically a side project of him and a few buddies. The guitar player on here is Mick Murphy, who is this amazing hard rock guitar player we've seen live a few times. And so this is all originals, but the Chevy Metal band that plays around clubs in LA is really covers, but kind of hard classic rock from Taylor Hawkins and Company, Birds of Satan. This last one. Okay, this I found at the thrift shop like the day after Christmas. This is a ridiculous record with a ridiculous cover. Stereo Dynamics to Scare the Hell Out of Your Neighbors with the Two Skeletons. I just love the cover. It's a really cheesy budget record. They threw together a bunch of songs that had good stereo separation. This is like, I don't know, late 50s, early 60s. Very cheesy record, but love the cover. And there it is, guys. The giant, ridiculous, too expensive stack of records. Christmas at our house. So we got a lot of work to do to listen to all this stuff. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you want to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. And we will see you next time.